This is Jacob from Wager Me This. This is going to be Lay the Points episode number 21. We are 21 in to this. Yesterday, for the picks I put out on here, we were 1-1. That's not terrible. Caleb Martin just didn't show well. That's not true. He showed up. He just didn't make any shots. He missed. He was like 0 for 7 or something like that until I think he eventually made one 3-pointer. But yeah, it was just not a good showing. It was just a really, really bad showing. As far as the Miami Heat were concerned, it was an overall pretty bad showing. I'd say besides Bam. Bam kind of showed up and played, but the rest of the guys didn't really show up. But we were on the Jimmy Butler under. We kind of knew he wouldn't get his points. Pretty much if you took any under of his, you got it yesterday. So I actually don't think that'll happen this next time. I actually think Jimmy Butler will have a much better game next time. So I think he was too passive in that game, even though I was going for the Nuggets and I'm a Nuggets fan. He was way too passive in that game. Way, way, way too passive. But anyway, so yesterday was a 1-1 day. Overall, yesterday wasn't great for me. I hit some bigger plays, but I missed a whole bunch of other plays. So it was okay. I didn't lose a bunch of money or anything, but I did lose a little money yesterday. It's not always the best days when you lose, and especially 2 days in a row. It kind of hurts. I got a little out there on the Caleb Martin props. I was really high on him yesterday, and he essentially failed all of them. That hurt. But I did hit a double prop for 390 plus 390. That helped a lot. That saved the day kind of from being just an absolute destruction. But anyways, the guys that are on my site and all that, they know they seen the whole destruction. But anyways, today we're going to Major League Baseball because there's just not a lot to go on anywhere else. What we have today is a very interesting matchup with Texas and Seattle. Seattle's traveling to Texas. They just got done playing the Yankees, and the Yankees smacked them around. I know Seattle got one game, but it was a 12 inning or whatever, 1-run walk-off game. It was Seattle hasn't been playing good, guys. Is what I'm getting at. And Texas has been awesome overall. Texas has just been really, really good overall. And even on their road trip that they just came off of, now they've had a day off, or maybe even 2 days off. They've had a little bit of time off here, but even on their road trip, they were really good. So Texas is one of the best teams in baseball, if not the best team in baseball. So on their road series, they just went and played Pittsburgh, Baltimore, and Detroit, and they won all 3 series. What's up, Minmo? They won all 3 series, and their losses were 3-2, 3-2, and 6-4. So what I'm saying is that, and at home, they've been pretty good. They've been, as good as any team. I know Seattle's pitching Castillo, but Texas is 16-8 at home, guys. Overall, what I'm getting at here is Texas is the underdog. I actually bet this at plus 105. It's up to minus 105 now, but it's still really good value here. The Texas money line. You're getting Gray, which Gray is 5-1 with a 111 whip. He's not Castillo, but he's not that far off Castillo. Close. I live in Arkansas. I've never hid the fact that I live in Arkansas. So I live in Arkansas. Mr. Godfrey. But yeah, when you're looking at this, so Seattle has seen Gray a lot more than Texas has seen Castillo. So a lot of these guys have hit against Gray, but some of them, like Rodriguez, like Julio, is 1 for 9 versus Gray. So Gray dominates him. Ty France is 2 for 11. Crawford is 2 for 9. Gray has done a good job against all these guys except for Suarez. Suarez is the only one that's done anything versus Gray. So when you flip over here to Texas against Castillo, every guy on the Texas team, they haven't seen him very much, but every guy has a hit against him. So they're the lowest batting average versus Castillo is a 286. Everything else is over 300. Now it's short sample size, but the point is that this isn't Texas is going to probably win this game. Texas is the better hitting team, and the pitching is equal. And Castillo hasn't been dominant this year. He's been okay. He hasn't been the same dominant guy. He has 76 Ks in 63 innings, which, believe it or not, is kind of low for him. You'd think that would be in the 80s. He's only 4-2. He's given up some really big innings. I think this is a pretty good play on Texas. You're getting it low juice. Like I said, I actually got it at plus money this morning. It's just a good spot to be in. You're taking the home team, Texas, coming off rest, the traveling team in Seattle, two good pitchers, and their stats are comparable. They're very comparable stats. Gray's not quite the strikeout artist, but I mean he's 5-1. He's 5-1 for a reason. He pitches well. So and Seattle, and I've never ever hit it. So in fact, I've met people here in Arkansas and over in Tunica and stuff. I don't have nothing to hide. So yeah, I'm good with it. But Texas, guys, Texas is one of the best teams in the major leagues, if not the best team. If they had DeGrom in the rotation right now, they're probably the best team in the majors. And they have the highest scoring team, and their bullpen is their only issue. Their bullpen is kind of trash. But they're 16-8 at home, 35-20 overall. They're a good, solid team, and I think this is a mistake here by Vegas. I think Texas should be favored in this one. It should be flip-flop, but we'll take it. We will take it. Believe it or not, this total is at 8, which 8 is the new 7 with the new rules, but that's pretty low. I actually think that's kind of low. It wouldn't surprise me if through 5 innings there's not very many runs, but in the last couple innings, I wouldn't be surprised to see quite a few runs. That's true. Whose bullpen isn't trash? Yeah. I mean, there's a couple that seem to manage, but yeah, most of them are not good. Most of the bullpens this year, and I think it has to do with the pitch clock, guys. And also these bullpen pitchers have got really used to situational pitching where they're pitching to a guy that's hitting into the shift, and so these bullpens have had it easy for the last couple of years. Well, now there's no shift and there's a pitch clock, so these bullpen guys are getting shelled, and it's been all year long. It hasn't really let up either. Big leads aren't safe in the 9th inning, and we've had a couple times this year, for everyone that is on my Discord and stuff, we've had a couple times in the 9th inning where we had 3 and 4 run leads and lost, or had unders and had 3 runs to go with 2 outs in the 9th and lost. I mean, it's just, we've had some really, really just brutal 9th inning collapses when we've had these bets in hand a few times. In fact, it happened to us one time on Texas. It was a YouTube play. Texas was up like 4-1 in the 9th, and the Angels came back on them. I think it was the Angels, right? They came back on them. But yeah, it's just, and it's all the bullpens. The bullpens aren't great, and teams are reluctant to send starters deep anymore. They're really reluctant to send them past the 7th, unless they're just a workhorse. And that hurts too. That hurts when guys are pitching well and they pull them with 80 pitches. That happened to us with Carrasco the other day. They pulled him with 80 pitches. He still probably had 2 innings left in him, but they pulled him, and we lost by a hook on the strikeouts. So it's just tough anymore. You can't rely on 100 pitches. You can't rely on guys getting outs. But on the flip side, on the batting, guys, we don't see sacrifice flies are difficult to come by anymore. It's like guys will be on third base with 1 out, easy run to get in, and these guys are swinging for the fences. And they strike out, and it's just like, just hit the ball in the outfield, man. And guys, make no mistake. On nearly any pitch that's close to the strike zone, these guys can put it in the outfield. They could widen their stance. and they can put the bat on the ball and drive it in the outfield. It's going to be an out. They're not going to be able to hit it anywhere good, but they could manufacture these runs. They used to do it all the time. It used to be such a common play that guys would even practice it, but it's went away. That's just really went away, and it's just sad because you see it, especially in these later innings when, and then even in extra innings, it seems like they don't go for the run, they go for a bigger inning, and it ends up costing them. So, the new baseball is definitely different. It's like 2 games. It always was like 2 games, but it's even more so now, where you have the starting pitching is its own game, and then you have the second half of the game, which is a totally different game. And it's been like that for a couple years, but it's really pronounced this year. It's really, really, with the rule changes, it's really, really a defined issue where the bullpens are so shaky. And by that time, the hitters are locked in and they start smacking the ball around. And the walks are crazy high this year. I saw something, I can't remember, but the walks are up like 20%. And that has to be the pitch clock. That has to be something to do with the pitch clock. But that's a ridiculous jump in walks. So, but anyways, so that's where we're at today. I'm taking the Texas money line, guys, at 105, minus 105. Again, I got it at plus 105, but that's my fault for not putting it out early to y'all. Minus 105 is still fantastic to get a home team that's the better team. Probably not the better pitcher, but comparable. But overall, yeah, it's just a good spot. Take Texas here, see what happens. Again, there's a rule in baseball. They say bring your pitching and see if you can hit. And when you're betting baseball, and that's more relevant this year than any, I think, that I've seen. Bring your pitching and see if you're hitting. You can get there. I mean, it just seems like it's just a couple spots. But if you guys go look at all the top teams in baseball this year are all the top hitting teams. It's not the top pitching teams outside of Tampa. It's all the top hitting teams. So you got like the Yankees, the Rangers, Baltimore, Tampa, the Dodgers. Outside of Tampa, their pitching hasn't been all that great overall. Texas is probably the second best out of that group. It's just been the hitting. They've been able to score 6-7 runs a game, and it's allowed these teams to win games because of the just sheer amount of runs they're putting up. And so, more so this year than any other time, the hitting matters more than the pitching, which is unusual. Usually, the best teams have the best pitching. Not the case this year because Baltimore's pitching's not special. They're one of the best teams. Tampa's pitching is special. If all their guys aren't injured, it's good. It's a really good rotation. But you look at teams like the Mets, right? They got 2 have been elite guys, and they're awful. Yeah, it's probably climbing because I'm sure everyone that heard me on this went and dropped $20,000 on this, and it's probably moved the line. Again, wager moves the line. Every time I touch it and it moves. I touch it and it moves. I mean, my $50 bets are well received in Vegas, and they are like, hey, we got to give this guy some credit. Now, I don't know why it's moving like that. It's because it's a good play, guys. The Sharps are probably hitting it hard. Texas will also be a very popular public team because they're an offensive team. But with Castillo pitching, that'll get a lot of public play as well. So I don't know. It's probably just there's good money on Texas in this one. They're at home, short favorite, and now I think that would minus 110 means they're probably even now. But like when you look at matchup predictors and stuff, Texas is like a 60% chance to win. So, and matchup predictors are right more often than you guys might think. If you even ESPN's matchup predictor, if you look at it, it's right way more often than you might think. But so, anyways, that's where we're at today, guys. Texas Rangers at home on the money line. Goog says it's minus 110 now, so it's probably what people are getting across the country, minus 110. This would be a good game if you had a boost, drop a boost on it. You could pair it with something else. That's another good spot because you're getting a short money line here. You know, you could pair it with, something, you feel comfortable with, maybe Miami, something where you can get a little bit of boost, a little bit of juiced up winnings there. Another spot that might be a good spot is Colorado. Colorado playing Kansas City in Kansas City, guys. Kansas City's terrible at home. Colorado will be able to hit the ball on them. It's not a bad spot. But anyways, that's where we're at. Texas Rangers today, money line. Let's get it. You guys have a great day. Jacob from When You Me This.